Hey everybody, Nathan Nerdarch here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, and today I'm going to be discussing spell lists for my Psionics 5th edition Homebrew game and rule set. And basically what I want to get into is kind of what the spells look like, and some of you might be disappointed, but most of the psionic powers, except for the class feature abilities, are straight out of the 5th edition Player's Handbook. Some of you may be excited because then you're like, yay, I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait for 6-7 months if I want to start kind of making that psionic flavored character soon, because I'm going to go back and revisit what I've worked on previously with the different class features and the different disciplines, and then incorporate the spells for those disciplines. So a major thing that I still have to do, this is just to give you a taste of the spells that are available, is I have to go back and take all the spell groups and then divide them up into disciplines and see what would stay and what wouldn't. Most spells in the PHB are in psionics in some fashion. They fit several of the disciplines rather nicely, and in some of the disciplines it doesn't make sense that they could ever get a hold of it. I'm going to make a general psionics list, and then I'm going to have everybody have access to certain amounts of these spells. I'm not sure exactly how I want to divide it up. That's kind of a work in progress, but this is just a general basic spell list, and it includes things like Vicious Mockery, Charm Person, Illusory Script, there's Message, there's Find Traps, there's all different kinds of, there's Flaming Sphere, Flaming Sword. I also have one that's called Ice. I've got a lot of, if you can make it hot, you can, in psionics, if you can make it hot, you can make it cold. So I have a lot of heat related things that can also be cold related things. Shatters in there as well. So I mean, the list is in the article on the website, so I won't get into the full list here, just to give you an idea of some of the powers and spells. A few of the cantrips that are designed specifically for psionics. It's pretty much one of the major things I actually developed, while all the rest of them I'm trying to take from the PHB as much as possible, because I really don't want to develop 100 new powers, or I don't want to change one little thing here or there that's in a regular spell that makes, okay, now it's a psionic power. Like, no, I mean, like sleep. Sleep is going to be psychometabolic, and basically the psychometabolist has two different phases. He has the one branch where it's psychoalchemical, so he makes all different kinds of basically pheromones come out of his body. Fatigue is a cantrip. Fatigue is an arc that basically you make people tired through different chemicals and pheromones that you put into the air that affect them in particular. So sleep is one that is there, fatigue is one that is not there. So ballistic attack, that's a simple just ranged attack. It does force damage. Well, it picks up a rock or picks up something or picks up a fork and hurls it at the person that you want to get hit with it. And basically, rather than it just building up, every time the die would go up, so if it's D8 for one fork, well, if you are high enough level that you get 2d8, well, then it's 2 objects that you're hurling. So that's kind of, when you're high enough level, you have like objects flying in from all over the place, hitting a person every round for your cantrip power. So that's the kind of the general idea of 2 of the cantrips. They also have several of the other cantrips, like Poison Spray. That's another psychometabolic. They have Message, which is a telepathic discipline cantrip. True Strike, right at the PHB, is as it is, but it's just for claircognizance instead of divination. Claircognizance have a lot of divination power access, because most of the magic spells that deal with divination, except augury and contact other plane of your being, or the higher one that you can kind of like contact people that may make you crazy, those are kind of outside of the realm of divination, but I think contact of the plane wouldn't be too bad. But augury is kind of definitely more of like a divine divination, like you're asking like a presence or some other thing there. So I kind of didn't go with that one, but I may incorporate it based on review. So what's another thing? We have a few others. One of the major things I wanted to get through to everybody was that you can have psionic, you can have a psionic feel, and you can have psionic classes with just a little bit of tweaking of the spell list, what you give them access to, and then just the class features that I've included, and you can kind of basically run your own psionics without a whole rule book. The biggest thing is contact. If you don't have contact, if you don't have a telepath in your game, then you don't need any more explanation on contact, because almost no one else, very few other psionicists that are not telepaths will even have contact. So one of the major things is with this video is all about getting a bit of feedback, because I'm torn between giving them too many powers and not giving them enough thematic power. So I've got pretty much all the spells in the PHB can be used to give this psionic class a good amount of thematic power to it and things that make sense. But I want to me, psionics can do a lot of things, so I don't want it to be overtly include all of the player spells. So that's my major issue, is I don't want to have it be just, oh yeah, they get everything except 2 spells from the first level, and everyone's, oh yeah, they get all the spells, you know, just in different disciplines. But if it is going to be like that, then I've got to start splitting it up, where telepaths might not get access to certain powers, or you can choose every group. So psychometabolic, telepaths, claircognizants, psychokineticists, psychoportives, they would all have their own spell list. And maybe you could choose yours and then 2 of the others. I might do that. That way there's some kind of restraint. There's some kind of restraint on the amount of power somebody could have access to, because I don't want to just make it a blanket, you know, hey, out of the 12 spells for first level available to all casters, you have 11 of them as a choice. I don't really feel like that's giving psionics their own flair. So I think if I have one group that's just open to all psionics, like a general kind of psionicist thing, and then each discipline has their own group, or I'm going to go with each discipline has their own group of spells, and you're allowed to have access to up to 2 other disciplines on certain levels. So maybe you gain access, because I kind of like that, gaining access to other power sets in the original Psionics the Psionics for 2nd edition. I like the power sets where they were just like, well, psychometabolics have access to these powers, and you only have access to 1 discipline to start. And that would be your primary discipline, which you have your actual class powers from, and your class features from, which is like the really big, powerful, high sciences and other powerful abilities in the game from 2nd, and also I took a little bit from 3.5. There's some really good things in 3.5 that I really like. Astral Constructs, for example, is a great summon monster ability, and the Psi Crystals and little pet rock familiars, I thought those were really cool as well. So I want to include them, and I want to take some things from 3.5 that made good thematic sense for Psions, that aren't just like number crunch stuff. And I also wanted to add a lot of the 2nd edition elegance to this. So I'm with the spell list, because I'm not just going to be saying, oh, I just ported over a whole bunch of 2nd edition stuff, or I just took the list from 3.5 and made it 5th. I want to examine what's in 5th. I mean, the things that are in 5th are there for a reason. They didn't just say, well, you know, let's just slap all these things in, because otherwise there would be like 3 times the amount of spells that there are. And also, they would have already included psionics as it if they were just slapping stuff together. So I wouldn't really have to make any powers up at all, and I almost don't need to. I'm going to show you guys probably next week how to get that feel of psionic. So I'm going to alter a sorcerer, and it's going to be like psionics. It's going to be a little path class features that you can take, similar to draconic or wild magic. So you can have wild magic, draconic, and then you can have psionic powers from a sorcerer. And I'm just going to kind of give that a little alteration and show you how you can have psionics quickly, and I'll give you some spell lists to work with. So I'm kind of developing that over time. I'm developing the psionics class features over time, but I'm kind of getting antsy myself. I want to play right now. I want to play 5th edition psionics right now. So for those people that have read several of my posts and are interested in seeing 5th edition psionics quickly, I'm going to make a few adjustments, kind of basically give you the feel of psionics without getting right into it. So that's my plan for this upcoming week or two, is releasing the spell lists for the disciplines that each discipline has access to, and then kind of really basing it off sorcerer with their ability to make their meta magics be spell points. And I mean, the meta magics, and I mean, psionics are going to have meta psionics as well. So it really goes along well with sorcerer's build. And I also try and get psychic warrior out there. But for the most part, that's what I'm going to be going with. Is I'm going to take the sorcerer and reskin it as a psionicist to give people that kind of feel of where I'm going. And then as I go, I'll take away and add more class features or more abilities to it. So, kind of went off topic of the spell list, but I think it's important for the whole development of it to include that concept of reskinning. So I'll talk about that in another video next week, or earlier this week, this upcoming week. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Enjoy, and stay nerdy.